had prior experience interacting with a cow or a bull? Just a raise of hands. Okay, I see a few hands. Well, I still remember my first experience. I stand facing a bull who's about 7 feet tall, weighing over 1,000 pounds, looking directly into my eyes. He has a halter around his face that is tied to a rope, which I recognize he can break loose if he chooses to. His size is intimidating, but I choose not to walk away. And remember, I had no prior experience before this encounter. I can hear my heart pound. But there's something about his calmness that is making me want to stay. He has his head bent as he's staring down at me. I hesitate for a moment, and I'm like, okay. And I reach out to touch his face. He doesn't move. He holds still, and he allows me to touch his face as he continues to stare into my eyes. Whew, okay, that's not bad. I continue to hold my hand as is, and I stare back into his eyes. I can hear my heart calm down. Now, it is tough to estimate how long we stared at each other, but I remember feeling like I was elevated to a higher level of consciousness. There was some form of energy transfer, which is difficult to describe in words. And as with everything in this world, this feeling didn't last long. My friend called out to me, and it was time to leave. As I began to walk away, I turned back with the intention to bid goodbye to the bull. He looked at me, he blinked his eyes, and he nodded his head, almost like he was saying, everything is going to be all right. I later learned that his name is Nandi. A few years ago, I was hit by a personal and a traumatizing incident that left me feeling helpless. The stress and the anxiety resulting from that incident caused me to spiral into a series of health issues, all of which induced more stress and anxiety. Now, we've all been in some emotionally overwhelming situation, haven't we? A heartbreak, death of a loved one, losing a job. The reasons are many. And in these situations, there is a great deal of pain and helplessness, often associated with increased levels of stress and anxiety. And sometimes this emotional distress can actually last for a really long time, which can not only affect our physical and mental well-being, but also how we participate in our social relationships. As I struggled to raise after I hit rock bottom, one day I got this opportunity to visit a cow rescue shelter. And this was the day that I had an emotional and a truly life-changing experience. Now, even though this first encounter was by chance, the divinity that I experienced in this encounter actually triggered curiosity. I kept going back to this cow shelter. And every time I went, I got this opportunity to sit next to, watch, touch cows and bulls. And with time, I was also exposed to acts of selfless service, such as feeding healthy food for these animals, helping keep their environment clean. And as weeks progressed, I began to recognize that cows and bulls actually make great friends. Cows, for instance, are empathic. They have this natural ability to offer nurturing. So why is this important? In friendship, there is trust, respect, a sense of commitment, safety, and acceptance. And as our friendship progressed, over time, I began to recognize that I was actually becoming more selfless because I was prioritizing my friend's welfare. And in return, my animal friend was actually prioritizing my mental well-being. Their silence was a very powerful tool in my healing and recovery. Every opportunity I received to spend time with cows and bulls, I actually came back feeling uplifted. And this in turn influenced my social interactions, at work, at home. Now, I was really fascinated by this transformation, and I wanted to learn what is actually going on. So I spent several hours researching online, talking to experts. I traveled to a couple of shelters across the country in an attempt to learn as I offered hands-on help. And in my exploration, I learned that a therapeutic effect is caused when one spends time with a cow or a bull in a farm-like setting. Yes, that's right. I can see some of you are like, really? That is right. You see, these docile beings have the ability to cause a calming and a stress-relieving effect in a way similar to how animal-assisted therapy works with cats and dogs. Only now that the effect is much more magnified because, well, these animals are bigger. So how does this work? The act of brushing or petting a cow will actually activate the touch receptors under our skin. And what this does is it lowers the stress hormone while boosting the social bonding hormone. In fact, there is evidence-based research that gently massaging cows lowers our anxiety and helps us feel more relaxed. The cow's warmer body temperature, lower heart rate, and mammoth size, all of them kind of contribute to offering this calming effect. And the good news is the animals feel relaxed as well. So all of this sounds great. I can actually hear some of you asking me, if I went and massaged the cow today, am I going to feel better? Possibly. But creating a long-lasting friendship with a cow is a much more valuable tool. You see, in friendship, we begin to prioritize the animal's welfare. And what that does is it better positions us to receive the love and acceptance that are offered by these bovine creatures, which, by the way, has always existed, but has never been recognized. And this is a powerful tool because this helps us experience divinity, and it elevates us to be more selfless. In a way, this helps us improve how we perceive and participate in this world as human beings. I invite you to pick a date and time, possibly on your workbook or on your calendar, date planner, to visit a cow rescue shelter or sanctuary so you can start the process of establishing this sacred friendship with these compassionate animals. In a world where mental health is being tested, people are seeking calm and searching for comfort. Befriending cows is a perfect foundation to help us to unconditionally give and receive in gratitude, because that really helps us fast track into feelings of hope, contentment, and happiness.